Alright, so like yesterday's video, I have no idea what's gonna come out of my mouth. I went to the Lord asking for guidance and to give me the right words to say, just like I did yesterday. So I don't know what's gonna come out of my mouth. I'm just gonna let the Lord lead me. So yesterday I was discussing some thoughts about the left and the Democratic Party. Now, I want to keep my word because in that video I told you I was gonna do one about the other side, the right, conservatives, Republicans. So let me just start off with this. The biggest issue that I have with the right is if we're supposed to be the ones that are honoring God, all right, we're supposed to glorify God in all we do. All of our rights that we have are given to us by God. Why are we excluding him in almost everything? I mean, that's like trying to play football without a quarterback. It's just not going to function well, and it just doesn't work. And we hold all these values like family, respecting women, uh, Pledge of Allegiance, all these other things, okay? But like we keep putting God out of it. You can't say that you're a conservative Christian and exclude God out of everything you do. I mean, do you have any idea how many people I know that say they're conservative, hold godly and biblical values, but live a complete opposite life? That's so hypocritical. And when you're walking in hypocrisy, how are you any different from living in a manner like people on the left do, like people on the Democratic side do? You're no different from them. The only difference is like the way you might go about it, but all in all, it's the same thing. Like you take pride in these values, which none of us would have if it wasn't for God. They wouldn't even be a thought to us unless it was for God. But we want to take pride in it and make it out to be as if like it's our own thing, as if it's our own doing, and it's not. No, but not one man or woman in this world who claims to be a godly man or woman would have any idea to be a godly man or woman if it wasn't for God. So to say that you're a conservative Christian and exclude God in everything, you're a hypocrite. It is what it is. I'm just going to be straight up with you about it. That's exactly what it is. So, again, that's a big issue of mine. For real, my biggest issue is the fact that most conservatives will just put God and exclude him out of every little thing. Like, I want to be more specific, but it's in like nearly every aspect of life that you could possibly think of. Not to just, again, to be a little more specific, let's talk about men respecting women, right? That's supposed to be like a value of ours that we respect women. Now, how is it that you can say that you respect women, but most of us conservatives out there, you're married men, but you're watching pornography? You're married men, but you're cheating on your wife because you can't keep yourself under control and keep your sexual urges at bay. How is that being a godly man? How's that being head of the household? You you you're not. You can say you are all you want, but you can't lie to yourself and you can't lie to God. And eventually it's gonna catch up to you. You're gonna get caught, and that's that. But you bring it on yourself. And there ain't nobody to blame but you for your own actions and your own doing. But if you don't want to take accountability for that, that's no one else's problem but your own. And until you do that, I mean, you're just poisoning yourself. You're making yourself out to be worse and worse each day the more you keep acting upon those things. Now let's go to women. How can you say that you're a conservative Christian as a woman? You talk about being respected, you want respect from men, but you do things that are gonna like give you the complete opposite of what you're looking for. Don't talk about modesty and being a virtuous woman when you talk about it, you go to church on Sunday, but then Monday through Saturday, you're out hoeing around basically. You got little to no clothes on, but you want to talk about modesty. You want men to respect you, but you're throwing yourself out there like a piece of candy. And then when men holler at you, you don't take any accountability for that. Like, don't get me wrong. A man, a godly man, a conservative Christian man, a Republican man should be able to keep himself under control. All right? I'm not, that is what it is. But if we're going to be fair, balanced, and unbiased here, if you're a woman doing those things and men don't respect you because you're doing that, you bring that on yourself too. You don't talk about modesty and respect for women and feminism when you're bringing disrespect on yourself. If you're going to dress like a hooker, okay, you're going to dress like a stripper, you're going to have your cleavage out there for everybody to see, and you don't think you're going to draw some eyes on you? What are you thinking? Where's your mind at? Where's your heart at? I mean, that's not, I can't even say that's common sense. That's just like instinct. How can you walk around like that and honestly expect men to not look at you? How can you walk around like that and think that men aren't going to jump to the conclusion that you want attention? Even if, just say that you don't, okay? Say you really don't want that attention, okay? And maybe it's a hot day. Okay, I can understand that. I can, to an extent. And if it's a hot day, you don't want to have too much on because you don't want to get heat stroke. Okay, cool. But there's a way that you can go about that and still not bring all that attention to yourself. But the way you choose to do that, that's on you. You're going to determine that outcome as a woman. So again, if you say you're a conservative Christian woman, you want respect. You want men to honor you and cherish you like a queen. Act like it. Walk in the manner of a godly woman. Walk and live in a manner like a queen. And if you're not doing that, don't expect to get that kind of respect. You're not going to get it. But let's just be straight up and real with each other. That's not going to happen. So there's that. A lot of men I know still to this day, like, God love them. I respect them. I'm not going to judge them out of a fleshly place. This is all out of love. But so many are alcoholics. Now, if I'm just going to be honest here, I don't know if I've admitted this on YouTube or not. I used to be an alcoholic, okay? So I understand what it's like basically having to depend on that. But by the grace of God, in influencing me and inspiring me to give that up, I don't do that now. I've slipped up here and there, yeah. But there's a difference between getting drunk habitually and genuinely and honestly making a mistake. And when you're getting plastered like that every day or every weekend, when you're living for the weekend, how do you think that's walking in a godly manner? How do you think that's walking as a Christian conservative or a Republican? That's not. I mean, have you forgotten that the Bible says to be sober-minded? If you're not sober-minded, how are you going to be able to think straight? How are you going to be able to be collective and keep yourself under control when stuff hits the fan? I mean, you're supposed to be a man of God, right? You're supposed to be a manly man, but a manly man should be able to keep his composure. You want to impress people? I don't agree with attention seeking, But for the sake of argument, okay, you want respect from people, right? It's more commendable and it's more honorable to be self-controlled than it is to get drunk as frequently as you possibly can, get angry all the time because you want people to respect you as a man. You want people to respect you as this tough guy, but yet when you get drunk all the time, nobody wants to be around you. And you'll make the assumption it's because people are intimidated by you. No, bro, you're acting like a complete fool. You're acting like a straight up fool. Nobody wants to be around you because you're the one shoving people off to the side when you act like that. I mean, you want to be a manly man, right? Men should respect one another. Men should be appreciative and kind toward one another. It's written in the Bible to show brotherly affection. How are you going to show brotherly affection when you're so puffed up in your pride? You take pride in your anger, being bitter and frustrated all the time. And then when people don't want to be around you, you think there's something wrong with them when you're the actual problem. Where's the accountability in that? I don't see it too often. It's a rare thing. Where is it? I mean, if that's you and that's your case, take accountability for it. Because when you are set off to the side by people who you love and people that you appreciate and they don't want nothing to do with you, they're not the problem, bro. It's you. And until you take accountability for that and step up, don't expect anything to change when you refuse to change yourself. You bring that on yourself. There ain't nobody to blame but you. There's temptation and influence, yes. But you, all in all, make the decision whether or not you're going to do that. It's all on you. All right? So there's that too. I was talking about how most Trump supporters were storming the Capitol. All right, now let's go off of that. Like I said in the last video, I do not justify that at all. Because, okay, here, if Trump supporters have this ideology that they're the ones in the right, okay, that they're the ones that got things straight, you want to condemn Black Lives Matter for all the crap they've done for months over in the summer last year, but you just did the same thing they did. I mean, it's bad enough that Republicans, conservatives, and Christians get bad repped on a daily basis for things that aren't actually happening, but then when you do something stupid like that, you are feeding into that stereotype. You're living that stereotype. But you don't want to take accountability for that too, right? It's so easy to point out the obvious flaws and things that are wrong on the other side, but when you're the one slipping up, you're the one doing something stupid, you don't want to take accountability for that. They justify their actions, you're doing the same thing. How's it any different from them? You're doing the exact same thing. And like I said, the only difference is the way you go about it. Your values might be different, like on the inside, but the way you portray yourself and carry yourself as a person is what's going to determine the outcome on how people look at you. I mean, when you're doing crap exactly like that, you're no different. But if you don't take accountability for that, step up to the plate and own up to that, how are you any better? You're doing the same thing as them. And just to go off more about Trump supporters, okay, for anybody out there that doesn't know about this, all right, let me inform you on something here. Before President Biden got elected to be president, okay, there were so many false prophets out in this world prophesying that Trump was going to get a second term in 2021, okay? And so many people fell for that. Now, the reason I'm bringing that up is because if you're supposed to be a Christian conservative, your hope and expectation should only be in Jesus Christ alone. Whoever's president, Jesus will always be king. All right? And it is clear. It is clear as day. Clear as 12 o'clock in the afternoon when the sun's at its highest peak that most conservatives, Christians, and Republicans all together put their hope in Donald Trump when it should have been in Jesus Christ alone the entire time. That's Christianity 101. Don't look to man for hope. Look only to God. Look, the only man you should be looking to for hope is Jesus Christ, for the fact that he's God in the flesh. That's it. You shouldn't be looking to anybody else for hope. The minute you do that, you're committing idolatry. Most people have made Donald Trump an idol. I've seen people build statues and bowing down before that. And you think that's pleasing to God? Whatever happened to thou shalt have no gods before me? God didn't change that. God don't change at all. He's the same yesterday, today, and forever. We're the ones that change. God ain't stuck or bound by time. We are. And we should not be looking to men for hope of any kind. Men will always put us down. Now, don't get me wrong. If I'm being fair, I wanted Donald Trump to get a second term. Absolutely. On the basis of legislation and policies that he was pushing, because they were more biblically in line compared to anything that Biden has at all. Everything Biden has been pushing is, Antichrist agenda almost entirely. So yes, I wanted Donald Trump to get in off the basis of policy and legislation. But if I'm being honest, the dude has so many problems. He is very prideful. If you see this, Mr. Trump, it's out of love, okay? But Donald Trump is a very prideful person, very arrogant. He is straightforward, but like I've said in other videos, there's a way you can be straightforward but be humble and meek at the same time. And if I'm being straight up with all you, I don't see that from him. He's very arrogant, very prideful, and takes pride in that arrogance. But the Lord uses the foolish things of men to confound the wise. And Trump is a prime example of that. But nobody should have been looking to him for hope. And then when Biden gets into office, I mean, how aren't you going to take any accountability for that you had something to do with that? You idolized a man above God. You put a man at a higher pedestal than God. And what, you thought God was going to honor that? No. God wasn't going to honor that. You're not supposed to do that. Again, that's Christianity 101. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Most people made Donald Trump out to be a god. He's a man just like you and me. Flawed. So many problems. You should have been depending on God the entire time. And if we would have done that as a country, if we would have done that collectively, I have no doubt whatsoever that God would have rewarded that and gave Donald Trump a second term. But instead of looking to Jesus alone for hope, most people were looking at Donald Trump for that hope that should only be in Jesus and nobody else. But you don't want to take accountability for that either. There's so much lack of accountability on both sides, it's almost hard to fathom. And until we do that, until we take accountability for ourselves, humble ourselves before God, don't expect things to change. And if you have any doubts about God throughout all this, you're looking in the wrong direction. You're the ones that messed up. We, as people, messed up. And we thought that God was going to reward that. For what? Why? Because we're the ones that claim to be Christians? Because we think that we got it all right? No. The minute you think that, you're walking in pride. If you can't admit that without God, we're nothing, and that without God, we'd have no standard of righteousness to obtain, you're just acting a fool. You are fooling yourself. You're fooling other people, and it becomes a matter of the blind leading the blind. But nobody wants to take accountability for that either, right? Because we're conservative and Christian. We got it all right. No, you don't. Again, the minute you think that, you're deceiving yourself. Man. Again, that's all I got to say too. Take accountability for yourself on every side. Christian, unbeliever, it don't matter. Take accountability for yourself. I'm done.